Welcome, dear audience, to This Week in Clown World, the video series dedicated to reliving the events of the simulation, because yes, it's really happened, and no, we weren't dreaming. Hot diggity damn, what a week it has been, and at no point was anybody surprised, because oh lordy lordy, the endless march of grown adults doing clownish things is just getting worsier, as the weak men part of the cycle once again shows its soy-infused face. Like blasphemy laws making a magical return to the Soyviet Kingdom to protect the imported clientele in case their feelings get hurt. And then out of nowhere, mostly peaceful diversity burnings happen in Paris, but then someone decided to cook this baby up to 11 and go full on peaceful riots in California. But then riots in Northern Ireland happened too, and then a random spontaneous riot in Salford, and to top that all off, war in Iran. But before we dissect the utter embarrassment that is humanity, big apologies for no video last week, as it turns out real life happened and I kinda just ran out of time. So let's recap what we missed in the week previous. Well, the man who did a protest in London outside of the Turkish embassy by burning the Quran and saying that he doesn't really like Islam that much, which is totally his right to do so no matter our opinions on whether or not that was cool, got arrested and has successfully been convicted of blasphemy under the disguise of a religiously motivated public order offense. Even though we got rid of blasphemy laws back in 2008. But hey, gotta protect the imported clientele's religion at all costs, right? Even if that means you have to go as far as arresting Christians for, oh, let me check my notes, praying in their own heads near abortion clinics and preaching the Bible in streets. Great stuff. Absolutely love this country so much it hurts. And for the guy who tried to stab him while doing that protest because his feelings were hurt, well, absolutely no one knows where that is at the moment in the courts because they're not saying anything, which is probably going to mean that he got away with it. Then, out of nowhere, Paris went up in diversity flames because of a bunch of Bullford players kicking a ball about and winning a trophy. Well, that's what the media are trying to claim, but if anybody knows anything about those French lands, they sure do have a lot of diversity, and just like in the Soviet Kingdom, they pretty much get to do whatever the hell they want without fear of repercussions, because if you offend them, they might just spontaneously explode. And for anyone thinking I'm being a bit of a bigot here, last time I checked, the French don't riot with other countries' flags. Right, terrific. What happened next? The very British Dr. Man Mikuchi got AIDS straight up got fired from Doctor Who, even though the BBC swore that he wasn't fired after he refused to do the Eurovision Song Contest stuff. Basically, Mikuchi got AIDS was meant to host the Eurovision Song Contest, but then pulled out because of Israel, and that pissed off the pedo palace BBC, so they straight up fired him. But then the media got hold of their information, published it, and then the BBC said, nah bro, Mikuchi got AIDS is totally cool and he isn't fired, but it turns out he totally is fired, and the Doctor Who is now a woman again because that worked so well the first time. No, what are we gonna do without all those non-binary they, them, aliens and drag queens now? I cannot believe this happened. Yeah, no one cares, barely anyone watches that show anymore anyway. Alright, what's next? Oh yes, the Prevent program has labelled anybody concerned with mass immigration as a totally far-right terrorist, because caring about your country, its culture, its history, and its future that we build for our children is one hate crime away from genocide. Yes, the Prevent program, the government quango set up to identify and stop radicalization, has turned its sights on the Soviet peasants because even though their sole purpose is to stop mass murder, they totally failed to stop the small Christian choir boy from Wales slaughtering all those children at the Taylor Swift dance class. So obviously if you noticed anything going on here, then that is a hate crime, so off the Belmarsh prison, you fuck bigot. Better not reread Lord of the Rings either, because oh lordy lordy, that's a German chancellor's form of a wet dream. What a pathetic state this country is in. But hey, keep going after your own indigenous population, because that's certainly not going to cause a civil war now, is it? But then, out of nowhere, the greatest American love story came to an end as Elon Musk and Donald J. Trump are no longer friends. No, what happened? It was a match meant to last forever. There's not a romantic comedy powerful enough to fix this one. Well, basically, Musk was meant to reduce government expenditure and stabilize the spiraling debt loop, but then Trump had the big spending bill which was going to add around about 2.5 trillion to the national debt, so the chief autist got a little bit angry and started claiming things on X. Hey, if you want your point heard and have a civil dialogue, that ain't helping anyone. Just like that time he attacked Asmongold for no reason and then came out looking like a complete dildo for it. Put the Twitter down for a moment, Elon. Go touch some grass. Hopefully, the love story continues and we can all be best friends again because I hate seeing my two daddies fight. But if you're looking for a cheap Tesla which has been hardly driven and only has one previous owner, I know a guy who is selling. Oh, and then a truck fell over, releasing millions of bees because that also happened. No, not the bees. No, the bees. Ah. Yeah, that's my greatest Nicolas Cage impression I've ever done in my life. Right, enough of last week. What happened in this one? Oh boy, a whole fuck ton, son, as across this clown world, rational debates and dialogue got error-coded into simulation, so everybody went back to being an ape, and now we've all gonna go out rioting with AIDS. Yes, the mostly peaceful Californians stopped deporting illegal immigrants with criminal conviction protest riots where a bunch of people who illegally entered the country are being told, hey, you can't actually do that, and now you're gonna have to leave, and because that's a hate crime for some kind of reason, cars are now on fire. Kinda hard to know where to begin with this one, as number A, all these goons waving Mexican flags proudly reeing over how cool it is to be a Latino in foreign lands, are for some reason unwilling to go back home. Thought you loved your country, bro. Surely being deported back to guacamole land is what you always wanted. Then, number B, there's the orange man sending in the National Guard because it's quite literally foreign nationals rioting on American streets, and for some reason that makes him the bad guy and not the complete dildo governor for letting it happen in the first place. Then comes number C, the media calling this the mostly peaceful protest again, when clearly that's a fucking riot. My god, it's like the media outlets are all centrally controlled by global manipulators who haven't worked out yet that absolutely no one believes them anymore. And finally, we found a new Democrat martyr who, just like the last guy, was a drug-addled thug, so we've got to save him from deportation even though he's a criminal. What is their fascination with romanticizing thugs, and why are there armies of soy-riddled aid patients circle-jerking for his green card? Kind of indicates a sick society when you have people calling for their fellow countrymen to be put in real danger purely for ideological means. Just like in the Soyviet Kingdom, where every time we have another mostly peaceful diversity boatman graping a woman, and then people get really angry about it, all those refugee welcome signs come flooding out with the exact same print, and everybody has sublime organizational skills, which was entirely spontaneous, and there is no one there manipulating people. Wait a minute. Is the same kind of thing happening in the United States of America right now? My god, it is! They also have completely spontaneous vans turning up with protest supplies. Yeah, it's getting pretty obvious now, right? Especially when everyone was pissed at seeing the Mexican flag on American streets next to burning cars, like some kind of conquering force, and then suddenly a bunch of American flags just organically turn up out of nowhere, and it's definitely not provided by the global manipulators to orchestrate a messaging campaign. Get the fuck out of here! Meanwhile, in Ireland, oh lordy lordy, turns out letting in hordes of foreign men into your country with zero background checks or requirements, like not being a criminal, does actually have societal consequences. Who would have believed that one? Because over there in Irish lands, it was one child touch too many for them, and now everybody is utterly fuming. So what happened to cause the riot then? Basically, a young teenage girl was attacked and attempted raped by two teenage boys who were so Irish and indigenous to the Irish lands that they had to get a Romanian interpreter just to read them their charges in court. So then everyone hit the fucking roof. And for all of you boys and girls living outside of the Soviet Kingdom, you would not believe how comforting it is here in a failed state to know that our successive governments, be it Labour or the Conservatories, have let in hordes upon hordes of unknown foreigners, and this shite is almost a weekly occurrence now, and that's only the ones that we know about. And when they do get convicted of literally raping women and children, they don't even get deported, because oh lordy lordy, imagine if they went back to their own country and there was a wood chipper waiting for them. Gotta care about the rapist human rights, haven't we? Yeah, just another example of the weak men part of the cycle creating hard times, so the hard men are beginning to rise to create the good times. Although, of course, gotta do the casual caveat on that one, don't riot, kids. Whatever message you have loses credibility, and it's just another excuse for the government to become even more draconian. There is still time to vote our way out of it. Alright, so that's 2 riots going on after the French one. What next? Well, another riot happened, of course, although this time in Salford, Manchester. But What was the reason for this? Literally no one knows. A bunch of teenagers got together and then went absolutely mental and smashed up like a Fiat 500. Kinda hard to condemn them for taking that shitbox car out because I bloody hate them, but it is also another example of a decaying society. Man, there's been a lot of clown this week and it's hard to keep track. So to help speed up this video, I'm just gonna go straight up and speedrun the whole thing. Sadiq Khan finally got his knighthood for ensuring a legacy of diversity, stabbings and poverty as the mayor of Londonistan. Yeah, King Charlie really united his subjects on that one. But then it was revealed 250,000 jobs in the Soviet Kingdom were lost since Labour's accidental election win last year, which is fantastic because we all love being poor and tax rises are now on the way. Hey, kinda sucks to be us British peasants right now, but just remember, my fellow Soyviets, when the dark clouds gather and you're losing all hope, there are still some Labour voters out there, which means you may be poor, but at least you're not dumb and poor. And then, a local Yorkshire man with ancestry going back centuries in these once fine lands sexually harassed a child on a train, which is very typical British behaviour going long back. Nothing to see here, just a British man doing British things, and no doubt he'll be the next iteration of Doctor Who or some kind of stupid shite. Moving on, Madeleine McCann might have been found after digging in Portugal close to where she went missing. Although, let's be fair, most likely it's not her and only the parents can identify the bones because they know where they are buried. Am I right? No, I'm not right. That was what we call humour, so please don't sue me. The parents are probably innocent. Next story. A recent investigation has revealed the Soviet Kingdom's government took taxpayers' money who are already extremely poor and decided, you know what, let's use that money we stole from the people and wank it up the wall by investigating gay porn since World War II, and while spitting in the face of the British peasants, why not chuck in music therapy for prego chicks in Africa? Tremendous! I love paying me taxes, I do. And talking of wastes of oxygen, Bonnie Blue, the woman who's famous for getting railed by multiple soy-infused men, just got banned from OnlyFans because she prostituted herself too close to the sun by planning to have hordes of men do simp shite to her while trapped in a box or something. What the fuck is wrong with men that they would actually pay cold hard cash to an online prostitute just to watch videos of her getting plowed by a bunch of low status simp men? Or even worse, actually partaking in the salty mayonnaise filled plastic bag bang-a-thong. I mean, first off, in my opinion, gangbangs are the closest you can get to banging another dude without actually doing it, so it's pretty gay. And second, if you're that desperate to touch the no-no square of a woman that you would actually go out your way to watch online videos that you have to pay for, how's about you just save a couple of £100 or whatnot, then go get a Ford Escort for the night, because at least then you'll get the chicken neck strangle included in the price instead of wanking one out in toilets at the local train station. Weak men part of the cycle, boys. Anyway, this is a speed run, so back to it. Then Starmer makes a deal to de facto hand over Gibraltar to the Spaniards without the consent of anyone, and now it's pretty much British in name only. Yeah, that's another bit of territory lost after the Chagos Islands surrender that we have to pay for. But please, Stalin, try the Falklands next time, because I'm pretty sure that'll piss the SAS off, and the last thing the government would want is pissing off those guys. Then it was noticed that it's mid-June and absolutely no one cares about Pride Month anymore, which is an amazing display of LGTB fatigue, and everyone is entirely being normal for once. Hey, at least now maybe naked men parading in front of children will actually get arrested for noncery instead of allowing it to happen through government ideological means. Get the wood chippers, boys. And finally on this speed run, the Labour Party are considering legalising abortion right up until birth, which no longer blurs the lines between the pro-life and pro-choice argument. It is straight up just murder, with absolutely no one in the Soviet Kingdom asking for it. Literally no one, absolutely no one wants this. The entire concept of abortions up until birth is deranged and disgusting. Yeah, I'm legit mad about this one. These people are sick in the head and they will be murdering viable babies. We need more wood chippers. Alright then, so that was a lot of clown for just 1 week. Glad nothing else happened. Nothing at all. Everything is absolutely fine. Definitely no plane crashes or war or anything. Definitely— oh fuck, it was Boeing and Israel again, wasn't it? Yes, after Boeing spent all their money on DEI programs and forgot how to plane, suddenly there was a long list of aircraft falling apart and crashes, and instead of focusing all their resources into desperately saving their brand and reputation, decided they'll double down, and now we have another plane crash. Tremendous stuff. Only one survivor too. 241 people dead. But while the world of aviation suffers another disaster thanks to Boeing, Israel decided, you know what, I'm gonna bomb a whole load of Iran, and now Iran is bombing Israel back, so it's pretty much all-out war in the Middle East again, just like the last time. Yeah, don't really know what to say about this one. The Orange Man is trying to stop it with deals to curb Iran's nuclear program, because they're a bunch of asshats and actively destabilize the Middle East, funding terror groups like the Houthis, Hamas and Hezbollah, so being backed up by big-ass nuclear bombs is a pretty bad idea that we need to stop. Although, on the other hand, they pulled the exact same shite with Saddam in Iraq, so fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, not the bees. Ah, the bees. And then there was also my mummy always telling me that the great state of Iran will rise once more after the barbaric 1979 Islamic Revolution, so there we go. I legit hope the Iranian people can be free again like they were before the hardline Islamic takeover. And before anyone reads at me for not caring about the Iranian government getting blown to shite by Israel, I have met a fair number of legit Iranian refugees within the Soyviet Kingdom who have told me about what happened to them and or their families for speaking out against the regime. The government is horrendous, so completely fuck them. I sincerely hope the innocent people are spared though. Big shout out to my boys and guys. My mummy told me not to kiss the bigots, but she didn't realise I don't listen to women, so pucker up boys, we're going to Paris. Love you all very much, Lee.
Subscribe button.
Is always right.